Our first match of the evening is a singles match set for one fall. Introducing first.
Well, I was going to introduce the show, but being interrupted right from the beginning here.
No!
Not happening.
Well,
That's not hard music.
it's a pleasure after what is honestly too long to even count to be back in Limerick City for some Phoenix wrestling at Phoenix Wrestling. Fuck your Superkicks. I have a horse outside. But this is a new team we haven't seen here before. Andy Steele, Owen Richards, LJ Cleary. They call themselves the Saviors of Destiny. Now I get the impression that they perhaps won't be endearing themselves to the Limerick City faithful here tonight. Well, let's hear what they have to say.
Very ugly crowd here tonight, by the way. I'll just say that. Very ugly crowd, okay? What did he say? What did he say? Limerick probably the worst.
Popular one, I have to say. Not one man in the crowd echoing the sentiments of many here tonight.
The Saviors have something to say.
Thank you. So, if any of you don't know who we are, my name is Owen Richards, this is Andy Steele, this is LJ Cleary, and together we are the Saviors of Destiny. We haven't just come to save professional wrestling, we've come to save each and every single one of you. Because over the last 19 months, we've achieved so much. But what have you people achieved? You're still just a bunch of Limerick scumbags. The only way that we can truly save this promotion is if we're the champions of this promotion. So tonight, myself and Andy Steele are going to take one step closer to being your first ever Phoenix Tag Team Champions. And this guy here, LJ Cleary, is going to take one step closer to become your first ever Phoenix Heavyweight Champion. Just me, and it's not going to be
talk to him, you gotta get through me. Okay, pal? And you wanna talk to me, you gotta get through him. Okay, pal? We don't like Steve Savage very much. We don't like any of you very much. We don't like any of them very much. So tonight, this guy is going to take the title. We eventually will take the tag team titles and we will save Phoenix Wrestling from every one of you. You fucking nerds!
Thank God. Thank God is all I will say. I thought we were in for a long night, I won't lie. I thought we were in for a lengthy, impassionate speech, but here we are. Reardon O'Connor. Silky smooth Reardon O'Connor. LJ Cleary claims that he has the second best hair in Phoenix Wrestling. He would beg to differ. But not only does he have the best hair in Phoenix Wrestling, he also has one of the best chances he could possibly have to being the first ever Phoenix Wrestling champion, because here tonight he will be taking on LJ Cleary and Justy and Limerick's own Steve Savage, as has been established as a match that many have been looking forward to for weeks. In the eyes of many, Reardon O'Connor is a prospect, but he believes that now is his time. Tonight is his night, and he is ready.
Is this on? I couldn't hear that very well. We're going to say professional wrestling. He's right, that's not fair, that's not fair. That's not funny, I said. That's not funny, that's not funny, that's not funny at all. But what we are looking at are three simple fucks in the ring. It's nice, it's not about Kenny. It's not about LJ Cleary. It's about Reardon O'Connor, Mr. Silky Smooth, the best becoming yours. Thank you. Becoming your inaugural Phoenix champion.
Well, if you're going to make a claim like that, it's inevitable that others on this roster, this highly competitive roster, are going to disagree with you, especially when it's to be decided tonight. Justy, of course, has the experience advantage over every competitor in this match, but especially Reardon O'Connor. Again, Reardon not short of confidence, not short of ability either. But if you're in Justy's position and you see a young prospect like Reardon O'Connor claiming that he's going to be the first ever Phoenix champion in a match that you're also in, you're not going to see it that way.
The last match I had in Phoenix, I actually bet you out there, really, goals, just shut your mouth like that one. I don't have to come down here and talk about how I deserve, or it's written in the stars, or it's my destiny, or that it is my time. And I've already earned this championship belt. And I don't know if the people remember, but in 2019, Justy was on the run of his career. Not only did I beat Reardon O'Connor and LJ Cleary and Steve Savage already, I just want to point out something. That I bet everybody I spent months after month after month after month of beating people in Phoenix Wrestling. I got to the very top of the tower, and the only thing that could stop my momentum was a worldwide catastrophe. So I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell both of you sacks that don't even know why you're here.
well. Well, here he is, the hometown hero. There's no way it wasn't going to happen. You've Justy in there, you've Rin O'Connor in there, you've LJ Cleary in there. But now here he is, the one man in this main event, representing this very city, his own city, Limerick City. And you want to talk about talent, ability, potentially the first Phoenix champion of the world. And you want to talk about Steve Savage. He doesn't even look like he's here to talk, he just wants to fight.
Are we going?
You want to go, yeah?
You know who wants us to go? Limerick fucking
There'll be fights already, fights breaking out already, but Sabres of Destiny bolting, doing everything they can to get out of there as fast as possible. They know they don't want any of Steve Savage or Rin or Justy. We will see who will be celebrating later on tonight after the main event. Will it be LJ Cleary or will it be any of those men in the ring right now? Only a few hours away and we'll find out. There is, of course, a level of mutual respect between Reardon and Steve Savage. Even Justy, as much as he might not like to admit it, he respects the other competitors in this match. He respects their ability. He's going to war with them in the past himself. And he knows what's at stake here. What an exciting main event we have lined up for tonight. But now it's time to get into the action and to get into the first match of the evening. As you hear Tom rightly point out, representing Titanic Wrestling in Belfast. On one half of this team you have JDP, a monster, power, strength. On the other you have Geordie Boy, speed, agility. This is what you call a wild card of a team. These are two men who aren't necessarily best mates, they don't necessarily go back as a team. But what they do share is one goal. They are united on one goal, and that goal is gold. That gold is Phoenix Tag Team Championships. Because that's what this is all about. It's the ultimate prize in tag team wrestling here in Ireland. Here in Limerick especially. And they want to put themselves, and they want to put Titanic on the map. But it's not going to be easy for them because right now they have a tough test, and that tough test are these men. I can't even hear myself think. Bursting with energy, Clong, Martin Steers, together, they are Rock Shandy. And if you have never seen these two young men wrestle before, you are in for an absolute treat. I would go as far as to say that they are nothing like any other team in this country or even Europe as a whole. oozing energy, oozing confidence. And not just that, but they have the ability to back up all this confidence. They have the ability to back up all this outward confidence that they display is backed up in their actions. This is a massive occasion for both of these teams, of course. In the semi-finals, 2 big wins away from making history here in Phoenix Wrestling, here in Limerick City. And you just know when you look at Rock Shandy and you look into the eyes of Martin Steers or Clong, they're not afraid of the occasion. Pressure is a very interesting thing because pressure can sometimes bring the best out of a wrestler, sometimes the wrestler can crumble under pressure. The one thing that I can take from this is that whether pressure makes or breaks a wrestler, I would go as far as to say it's irrelevant in the case of Rock Shandy because they don't seem to be feeling any pressure whatsoever. And already, Geordie Boy, full of fire, full of anger. He feels overlooked. He feels like he's someone who should have been on these shows a long, long time ago, of course. If you follow Titanic Wrestling, he is one of the big stars up there. A wealth of talent up there in Belfast at the minute, a wealth of potential. And Geordie Boy is in there with the absolute best of them.
Bring it out.
And you see him now just twisting the arm of Martin Steers. It might not be pretty, but it's effective. And that's all Geordie Boy cares about. He cares about getting the win. He doesn't care about pleasing any of these fans. He won't have, I suppose, hometown advantage. He's quite a long way from home here down in Limerick. But he doesn't care. That's something that's very valuable as a wrestler. When the fans are against you and you don't care, you can work through it. It doesn't bother you. But what will bother him is the teamwork and the cohesion of Club Rock Shandy. Well, you have to understand as well, JDP, tag team specialist in his own right, of course a part of the Nightmare Edition with Tron. But, you know, it's one thing teaming with someone who you go back with, it's another teaming with someone who you don't have a huge amount of history with. And you know who has history? Steers and Clong. They are 2 men that go back a long time as a tag team now. And they are 2 men that have seen success up in Dublin, winning the tag team champions in Fight Factory. You've seen them wrestle in OTT. And now we're seeing them here in Phoenix Wrestling again. They've wrestled here before, but JDP catching Steers on a suplex. And the size difference is a huge factor here for Martin Steers when he goes up against JDP. There is a key to beating JDP if you're Martin Steers at the minute, and it's being quick, being pacey, using your speed and your agility to work around JDP's strengths and working around his power. But so far, it's not working out too well for him. And Geordie Boy is tagged in. And when you mix in Geordie Boy's vicious, hard-hitting style, his also a quickness of his own to his strikes and his punches and his stomps, you mix that in with the slams, and again just the power of JDP, it could be a very long night for Martin Steers if he can't tag in Clong. And Clong doing everything he can to try and get the fans to back himself in Steers and to try and will Steers on to get into the corner and make that tag, but it is so much easier said than done. Once the momentum goes against you like it is now with JDP and Geordie Boy, oh, and JDP putting all his weight, crushing Martin Steers. And you know, many would consider Rock Shandy the team to go on and win this. Many would consider them not just one for the future, but one for the present. Many would consider them, honestly, the best tag team in the country at the minute. But right now, with JDP using his size so effectively, and not seeming to have any sort of issues with Geordie Boy in terms of their chemistry, they look at the minute very comfortable. They look like a team who's, I mean, look at this. Again, this is the tag team experience we're talking about. JDP taking the ref, bringing him further away from the corner. His eyes are off the action. He's completely distracted. But Martin Steers is fighting back. Martin Steers, but just as Martin Steers looks like he's getting the better of Geordie Boy again, in comes JDP. An incredible fight IQ being shown here by JDP, and you really would expect nothing less. Again, there's a reason these two are so synonymous with Titanic wrestling. There's a reason that if you follow Titanic wrestling, you'll see more than enough of these men, because they are winning matches left, right and centre. Not just potential, but ability. And I have to say, I am very surprised at how well these two are working together as a team, really getting the better of Martin Steers. And if you're rooting for Rock Shandy, like a lot of these fans are, it is worrying. Martin Steers looks to be in very, very deep waters. He's showing glimpses. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would never question the fight of Martin Steers. I would never question his fearlessness, his tenacity, his ability to fight back as an underdog. But, you know, one man can only do so much. If he can't make that tag... Oh, they're going for a double suplex here. Again, rushing the blood to the head of Martin Steers, disorientating him. You can see him just about reaching out for a clone, but he can't reach. Too much has been taken out of him already. The wind really taken out of Martin Steers' sails so far. You know, they got off to a hot start there, Rock Shandy. Things are looking good for them on the very, very early ons here, but it's completely taken a turn now. It's all JDP, it's all Geordie Boy, it's all Team Titanic. Well, Martin Steers showing what he's made of, and a step up in Saguri, completely rocking Geordie Boy. This could be his opportunity here to bring Kong in. You see, Kong knows, Kong's ready, getting the fans to try and will on Martin Steers. And Martin Steers reaches over and makes the tag, and in comes Kong. JDP swings, he misses. Kong with those kicks, and Kong just unbelievable, his strength with the kicks. It's the karate background that Klong possesses that allows him to mix in the kicks along with moonsaults, and I thought that was it. High flying ability that very few others possess, and already he's tagging back in Martin Steers. Martin Steers, of course, you can see it in his face, a little bit worse for wear, but the momentum has shifted. Klong has done his job. And JDP may have the size, but at the minute he does not have the numbers, and oh no, he catches, JDP catches Martin Steers, and a silence descends over Limerick City for just a moment, as it looks like Club Rock Shandy are back to square one. Oh no, and JDP and Geordie Boy working together again, excellent double teaming. Martin Steers kicking out at 2. Many people here, myself included, thinking that was it. But Rock Shandy continue to keep fighting. They will not give up. They know how much this means to go on and become the first ever Phoenix Tag Team Champions. You can be the longest reigning Tag Team Champions. You can have the most reigns as Tag Team Champions. But there can only be one first. There can only be one team that can write their name in the history books as the first ever Phoenix Wrestling Tag Team Champions. An incredibly prestigious honour. And Rock Shandy do not want that honour to go to Team Titanic, and you can see them now. Kong and Martin Steers, they are down, but they are far, far from out. And Geordie Boy looks to be in pain. It's whoever gets to their feet first, and Martin Steers is up on his feet. Gets onto the second rope, and wham, bam, chicken on ham. This could be it for Rock Shandy, and they've done it. Rock Shandy making it into the finals of the Phoenix Wrestling Tag Team Championship Tournament. And you have to admire the fight back, you have to admire the sheer effort, the heart, the work that they were able to put in together, and that's what teaming together for so long can achieve, because Martin Steers isn't going to give up on Klong, Klong's not going to give up on Steers, They know what each other is capable of, not just physically, but mentally. They know they will never say die, and that motivates the other one to pick themselves up when things are looking tough and get the win. And JDP and Geordie Boy, they're slapping, they're raging, they're not happy. But at the end of the day, it's Rock Shiny that are going through to the final, and that's all that matters right here, right now. They can react how they want to, and Rock Shandy appear to be making their way over to the commentary table because, interestingly enough, our next match. What's up, Martin Steers? What's up, Con? What's up, Rock Shandy? Our next match. What do you have to say about that performance so far?
Delighted to be back. Obviously, Rock Shandy get the win. What's up, tag titles? We're coming for you.
Big W there for Rock Shandy. We're coming for those titles.
I don't need to introduce this team. It's Owen Richards, it's Andy Steele, it's the Saviors of Destiny. They've made it very clear who they are, what they aim to accomplish, and we've also well established what the fans think of both of these men. They haven't endeared themselves to the Limerick City fans, but they don't care. What matters to them is wins and losses, their ability, and becoming the first ever Phoenix Tag Team Champions. But before they get to any sort of final, before they get to any sort of title match, they must first go through their opponents here tonight, and this will not be easy. This will be a tough test for all of these men, because there's so much on the line. We saw, and Klong has something to say.
Yeah, like even their music is obnoxious. I don't know what they were thinking. Everything about them is obnoxious. No one is ever going to like these guys or root for these guys. It's just not going to happen for them.
But okay, apparently this is a handicap match. It's gonna. But Martin, I was gonna say, what were your thoughts on the Sabres of Destiny, and if you thought they had a chance here in the semi-final, but it appears to be a 2-on-1 match. What do you make of that?
It's easy for us to go through and win the titles. These lads don't stand a chance.
Well, they may stand a chance. They may stand a chance in the semi-final because it's apparently it's a 2-on-1 situation, not just 2-on-1 situation, but a 2-on-1 situation against Justin Daniels, who, for all his talent, he does, with all due respect, he does lack experience. Now, he's not afraid to take on Owen Richards, he's not afraid to take on Andy Steele, and he's not afraid to take on both men at once. But it's a big ask, it's a really big ask, for Justin Daniels to show up here on his own, fearless, dancing away, having a bop. I think you have to respect that in itself. He looks prepared, he looks relaxed, he looks composed. We spoke earlier about how Club Rock Shandy, they weren't affected by the pressure of this match. I don't want to, I think you'd be a fool to rule out Justin Daniels altogether. But and already from the start. Rock Shandy, Klong. Yeah, Klong, this is what you could be up against here. Owen Richards and Andy Steele, right before the bell even rings. Are you ready for these sorts of shortcuts if they win this match?
I've been ready for the likes of this since I was about 4 years old. If they have to cheat to win, they don't stand a chance against us.
Well, in fairness, neither of you did cheat in your last match. You were put to the test by JDP, you were put to the test by Geordie Boy, and still you came out the other side without taking any shortcuts. So you're confident going up against a team that you feel requires these shortcuts?
Very confident, but Justin Daniels, I know the odds are against him, but this lad has a lot to bring to the table. So obviously, you never know with this lad.
And you can see the fans getting behind Justin Daniels and Andy Steele. But at the same time, are you not impressed by Andy Steele and Owen Richards and the ability that they possess, in what they do?
The only thing that impresses me about Andy Steele is the fact that he has the confidence to walk out of barbers with that haircut.
I mean, Andy Steele, of course, whether it's for his hair or his wrestling, definitely isn't short of confidence. But again, you look at the chemistry that Andy Steele and Owen Richards have as well. They haven't been teaming as long as either of you, but they still seem to have that chemistry. Do you think that your experience would help you against Andy Steele and Owen Richards?
But we have the chemistry as well, and we have tons of more experience in the tag team than these two lads.
There's also one more thing that we have that these guys don't, and it's the most important thing at pro wrestling, is that we have the crowd behind us every time we get in that ring, and they never will.
They would argue that crowd response doesn't matter, that you don't need the fans, you can win on your own. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, crowd response definitely helped get us through that match. Like, we both took some heavy hits from JDP and Geordie Boy. We were up against it, but with the crowd behind us, there's nothing that can stop us.
I do have to say that just watching it did look like the fans being behind you did make the world of difference. Would you agree with that, Martin? Would you say the fans really played a part?
The only thing these lads can be the saviours of is saving all of us a bit of time by not showing up to this place anymore.
Fans are everything. We're able to do whatever we can because of these fans. These fans behind you, the adrenaline is through the roof, as you can see by Justin Daniels. Taking on two athletes right here.
I was going to say, yeah, you look at Justin Daniels and the fans behind him, 2-on-1, and he just doesn't care. But of course, on the counter argument, the call to action, and that's it already in just a few minutes.
I think it's time for Rock Shandy to show these lads what they're up against when it comes to the finals.
Look, neither of these guys would have come out and fought if their partner wasn't with them and tried their best. So it goes to show exactly who they are. The fact that Justin came out and showed hard against two people that, they deserve respect because they've been in there, they've done it. But Justin doesn't care. He'll get back up and fight another day, and Justin is someone that I'd love to share a ring with. As far as the Saviours of Destiny go, we'll see them in the finals.
Right, well, thank you very much for joining me, Rock Shandy. I do have to be a professional. I'm not allowed to show my bias. But there is a part of me that hopes Rock Shandy can get the job done against Saviours of Destiny. I'm just being honest. Because you look at that and, well, we're going to hear what Justin Daniels has to say at the minute.
And due to unfortunate events about 2 minutes before it was supposed to come out, it all went to shit. But unfortunately I had the rest of these two goons on my arm. Really sorry I couldn't give you more. The next time I'm down here, I promise I'll give you more. I promise every single of these ways I'll give you more.
If there's one person who has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of, it's Justin Daniels. I mean, Justin Daniels, full of class as always, such a promising young wrestler, and I guarantee if you put a fully fit and fully healthy tag team partner alongside Justin Daniels, he will get the job done. And Justin Daniels getting into it again with Andy Steele. this is our final for the Phoenix Tag Team Championships. The Saviors of Destiny against Rock Shandy. Well, I can't call it. I'll be honest with you, I can't call it. It would be very bold of me to give a prediction. Obviously, the Saviors of Destiny only had to beat one wrestler. But that doesn't mean they didn't show glimpses of, what they can do against a tag team like Rock Shandy. They have got the strength advantage. They have got, the power. But it's gonna be a tough test for all men in that match, and I'm really looking forward to that. You will be seeing that very, very shortly at a Phoenix Wrestling show near you. Well, he calls himself Mr. Phoenix. Matt Skyler thinks he owns this place, and I can't really say that I agree with him. I'm not denying his potential. I'm not denying his potential. I'm just saying that Matt Skyler still has a lot to prove. And this is the test here tonight. Maybe he can prove himself. Maybe he will go on to be Mr. Phoenix. But many would argue that Matt Skyler at the minute, if anything, is actually quite deluded. Here is his opponent. As you can tell by the response from these fans, this is one of the pillars of Phoenix Wrestling. Someone who's been here since day one of the key wrestlers in this promotion. Someone who's sacrificed absolutely everything for Phoenix Wrestling. It's Billy Bedlam. And if Matt Skyler wants to go around calling himself Mr. Phoenix this and Mr. Phoenix that, if he wants to be Mr. Phoenix Wrestling, he has to get himself some singles victories over somebody like Billy Bedlam, because Billy Bedlam, if there's anybody who can argue that they are Mr. Phoenix Wrestling, it's Billy Bedlam himself, of course, accompanied by William as always. I won't speak over the sing-song, absolute banger. But this is one of those matches that's almost, because it's very personal, and they both made it clear that to them it's just business, that to them, yes, they have a lot of history with each other, but at the end of the day, they're not going to hold back. They're going to do what they need to do to get the win. But as well, Billy Bedlam has said that this new Matt Skyler, this Mr. Phoenix Matt Skyler, as he likes to call himself, he doesn't believe that this is the real Matt Skyler. You have to remember, these are not just two mates who had a podcast for quite some time, and they did. But this is also, I mean, Billy Bedlam is Matt Skyler's trainer. Billy Bedlam has taught Matt Skyler everything he knows how to do in that wrestling ring. Now, Matt Skyler would completely disagree with that. He would shoot that down straight away. He would say, look, you haven't even seen everything I know in a wrestling ring. Matt Skyler thinks that he's being overlooked. He thinks he's being underappreciated. He thinks he's being disrespected. Others would say he's being arrogant. Others would say that Matt Skyler is the one disrespecting everyone around him by calling himself Mr. Phoenix Wrestling. Again, I can't emphasize that Matt Skyler does have ability and he does have potential, but is he going about utilising that potential and that ability in the right way? It's up for debate. As you can tell by the fan response, the fans speak for themselves. They want a Billy Bedlam win here tonight. They want Billy Bedlam to humble Matt Skyler. Matt Skyler going for a test of strength here with Billy Bedlam. He seems quite reluctant, and I don't really blame him. I don't really blame him for being reluctant. You see Matt Skyler reaching for the ropes and again goes for another break outside the ring. Matt Skyler, he's taking his time. He's reassessing his options. Sometimes he'll do that. This new Matt Skyler, he'll come into a match so confident that you could argue he's overconfident. And at what point does confidence turn to arrogance? And once you're arrogant, it leaves you open to make mistakes. It leaves you open to shortcomings. And somebody with the experience and the knowledge that Billy Bedlam has, he will exploit those mistakes. He will exploit that overconfidence and that arrogance that Matt Skyler possesses. And you see Billy Bedlam just wrenching back on the arm and the shoulder of Matt Skyler, and this is what Billy Bedlam is going to want to do in this match, bearing in mind that for all this talk of, oh, is Matt Skyler Mr. Phoenix Wrestling, is he not Mr. Phoenix Wrestling, at the end of the day, in a singles match between Matt Skyler and Billy Bedlam, there is a key to victory for Matt Skyler, and it's speed, it's high-flying aerial ability. That's what Matt Skyler brings to the table that very few others do. And Billy Bedlam, if he's going to want to win this match, if he's going to want to utilise his experience effectively, and he knows this, he's going to want to slow the pace down, just like he's doing right now, grabbing onto the wrist, gaining wrist control, going up to the top rope, unfamiliar territory for Billy Bedlam, but he's going old school. And he hits it to perfection, Undertaker-esque. And Matt Skyler touching onto his arm, you can feel it, but again, there you go, out of nowhere, single leg lariat, taking out Billy Bedlam, and now Matt Skyler's on top of him, just raining down the blows, ground and pound. Again, you know, the old Matt Skyler wouldn't necessarily be doing this. The old Matt Skyler happened to face somebody who he has history with, somebody he once called a friend. You know, he wouldn't be on top of him raining down punches and getting kind of gritty and brawling like that and turning it into a dirty fight more so than a technical or an aerial masterpiece of a wrestling match. But that's what this Matt Skyler is doing, because Matt Skyler, he sees the main event tonight. He sees the Fatal 4-Way. The first ever Phoenix Wrestling Champion will be crowned. And it's not going to be Matt Skyler, because Matt Skyler is not in the match. And this grates on him. He is raging. He is... I would say that I talked to him about it earlier today, but I didn't talk to him earlier today. He doesn't want to talk to anyone. He is in his own world right now, and it's a world full of hate, full of anger, and he wants to take it out on Billy Bedlam. He wants to take it out on every single other member of this roster who has taken a spot further up what you could say is the Phoenix Wrestling food chain than he has. I mean, at the end of the day, I said Billy Bedlam has been here since day one. Matt Skyler has also been here since day one, as a tag team competitor, as a singles competitor. You know, the argument could be made he hasn't proven himself to the same extent that others may have, but he would argue to differ. He would say, I should be in that World Championship match, I should be the first ever Phoenix Wrestling Champion, and now he will never achieve that. There will be a new champion here tonight, and as I said earlier, there's only one first, and that first won't be Matt Skyler, and that is something that will possibly haunt him for the rest of his career. And certainly at the minute, it is something that is haunting right now. It's something that's in his head. What's he going for here? A drive-by drop kick onto the apron, catching Billy Bedlam in the head. And Matt Skyler, to his credit, not allowing the experience of Billy Bedlam to allow Bedlam to get it better here. He's controlling the match at his own pace as well. going up to the top rope. Very familiar territory here for Matt Skyler. And what's he? Oh, not even going for it. Instead, he hops down. You know, they say high risk, high reward, but Matt Skyler perhaps deciding to play it safe here, perhaps opting for a different strategy than what we're used to Matt Skyler seeing. And in fairness to him, it is interesting, but he's spending a lot of time talking to the fans, and that can often be a mistake as well. A mistake often showcased by the inexperience. And I'm not saying Matt Skyler has zero experience, but again, compared to Billy Bedlam, his experience is limited. The fans, you can hear, willing on Billy Bedlam, and we've talked to Rock Shandy, we've talked to Claude and Martin Steers, and I've said how important the fans are to most, if not all, of these wrestlers. I mean, some will deny it and some will get wins without the cheers and the adoration, but it really does seem to make a world of difference when you're in trouble, when you're hurt, when you're down, and you need to fight back and you need to make that comeback. Billy Bedlam seems to be utilising the response of these fans to his advantage. But Matt Skyler, I will say, I am impressed. You know, again, personal feelings for this man aside, I am impressed by his ability to dominate right now. But Billy Bedlam blocks the run to the corner. And Billy Bedlam with a bicycle kick, sending Matt Skyler flying through the air. Again, Matt Skyler, most opponents that he faces, he will always have that size disadvantage. When he gets hit hard. He goes flying through the air. Now, this isn't something that's new to Matt Skyler. This is something Matt Skyler will fight through time and time again. But Billy Bedlam is looking a bit more comfortable now as he throws a headbutt. Matt Skyler goes to throw a strike and is blocked, and another headbutt, sending Skyler into the ropes and back into the middle, and Billy Bedlam pulling out all the stops to get the better of Matt Skyler in this exchange. And things have really turned on its head. Billy Bedlam going up to the middle rope and splashes down full weight onto the abdomen of Matt Skyler, and you can just see the pain on his face. Matt Skyler grimaced when Billy Bedlam landed there. But Bedlam, of course, he's going to need more than that to put away Matt Skyler. And oh, Matt Skyler popping up on his feet. And a kick to the legs of Billy Bedlam. And Billy Bedlam throwing Matt Skyler over the ropes. Matt Skyler right to the back of Billy Bedlam's head. And oh! Matt Skyler goes for the top rope. But again, as I just said earlier, it's high risk, high reward, but you call it high risk for a reason. As the night goes on, you know, the ropes, they get a bit moist, they get a bit wet. What happens? Wrestlers go to the top, they slip, they fall off. But what's really impressive here about that is Matt Skyler went for a move off the top rope. We don't know what it was. But what's really impressive is how quickly Matt Skyler recovered. This is something that you gain with experience. The ability to keep calm in deep waters when things don't go to plan, when things don't go your way, and to just remain on the attack. Matt Skyler honestly doesn't look like he lost a step after that. And that's what's really, really impressing me right now. Matt Skyler is here to make an argument that he belongs in the title picture, but Billy Bedlam now grabbing the foot, grabbing the shin of Matt Skyler, and Skyler stopping the face of Billy Bedlam to try and get Billy Bedlam to let go. Vicious slaps to the head. Billy Bedlam doesn't care. Billy Bedlam is tough as nails. He's clinging onto that leg for dear life. He knows that if you cling onto the leg of Matt Skyler, you know, away goes his high flying, his aerial ability. And oh, Matt Skyler! Oh, isn't able to hit it, but Billy Bedlam rolls him up 1-2, and that's it! And Billy Bedlam catches Matt Skyler! Oh, Matt Skyler is not going to be happy with that one. Oh, he is not going to be happy with that one. Billy Bedlam, this is what I'm talking about, the experience advantage. Always alert, always ready, open to exploit any weaknesses, any second, I mean millisecond of weakness that opens up for Billy Bedlam. He will take advantage of that. And Matt Skyler, he dominated the whole match. There's no denying that. Matt Skyler got the better of Billy Bedlam for most of this contest. You would say at least 80% of it. if not 90. And now Matt Skyler coming in from behind and taking out the legs of Bedlam. And this is, you never like to see this. You know, I was just about to praise Matt Skyler for, you know, how he managed to sort of control most of that match despite not getting the result. But you can't. There's no praising attacking someone after the match like that. There's no need for it. I mean, this is why a lot of people take issue with Matt Skyler, and you know, he'll go around and he'll call himself Mr. Phoenix Wrestling. Mr. Phoenix Wrestling doesn't feel the need to attack wrestlers after the match. And now he's arguing with Foxy. Absolutely no class whatsoever. No, he's trying to get Foxy to raise his hand, and for what? You don't get to raise your hand for controlling 80% of your match. You raise your hand for getting the 1, 2, 3, for getting the submission, for getting the victory. And now he's demanding that his music is played. You know, Matt Skyler, he did well here, but he still has a lot of work to do. You don't lose a match and then, you know, you don't. Look, it's a shocking display, but when it's all said and done, who's the winner here tonight? The winner is Billy Bedlam. The fans understand this, the fans appreciate this, and I appreciate this. Billy Bedlam got control for a lot of that match, but still came out with the victory, and it just goes to show the level of fight in the dog that is Billy Bedlam. Even still at this stage of his career, if you want to put him away, you are going to have to put in the work. And Matt Skyler, look, he's putting in the work, but he's going to need to make some adjustments to his game, and he's going to need to stop reacting so emotionally to everything that's going on. Well, look, Billy Bedlam's not going to care at the end of the day. He got his dub, he got his victory, he got his win. He celebrates alongside William, who I can't call a puppet because Billy Bedlam will beat me up and he can hear me from where I am at the minute. But, you know, a great effort all round, in fairness. And a great match, great performance from Billy Bedlam. You know, Jay Worker named Danny Cross, he refers to himself as Stone Cold in heading into this fight. Oh my God! Butch Armstrong goes, oh! And Session with Martina with her own kendo stick. And just, they're each, Jay Working and Danny Cross, Session with Martina going back and forth. They have to be very, very careful here when you're swinging around weapons, when you're wielding around weapons like that. There's no room for error, as you can see, as Martina gets the absolute better of Jay Worker named Danny Cross, and now raining down forearms on Jay in the corner. You know, he came into this calling himself Stone Cold, dressing as such, ready for the occasion, but I think being confident and being ready mentally and being able to back it up in the ring is another thing, although a boot in the head of Session with Martina would suggest otherwise. And what's Butch Armstrong doing here? He's a bucket of water. He's wet. Oh my God! Wet towel to the arse of Jay Working and Danny Cross. We knew we would see violence. We knew we would see people doing everything they can to get their hands on this championship. But Butch Armstrong already taking it to a whole new level. And in the background is Jay Money. Jay Money dodges Butch's towel, and he plants him in the center of the ring, and Butch backs up into the corner. Jay Money points at him, and Jay Money, he may not need any weapons. Jay Money may just have his wrestling ability, and that may be all that he needs, because at the end of the day, all it takes is a pinfall. With Butch Armstrong rolling out of the ring, I want to say great ring awareness, but perhaps I think he just did that. Jay Money trying to be strategic. He's begging, he's pleading. It's perhaps initiating a temporary alliance.
I heard that you recently started making that contract money. I find that very beautiful in you. And now I obviously #Fancies Martina's back. So what do you beautiful dinner. Steak and lobster. Order a bottle of vintage Chateauneuf de Pape. And at the end, we split the bill.
Oh, Jay Money, just as I was going to say, he has a way with words. He gets cracked on the side of the head with a candlestick. And what's Butch Armstrong got here? Butch Armstrong blowing bubbles out of the face of Sexual Martina. Butch really, he came ready. He came prepared. Say we want a banana peel. Oh! Jay working out Danny Cross, slipping on the banana peel. Butch Armstrong, you have to admire the creativity. He's not afraid to play with whatever weapons he gets hands on him. Jay Money cracked him over the head with that briefcase. Many people ask him what's in the box, but Jay Money needs to look behind him because Jay working on Danny Cross. It looks like he has the. Is Jay Money gonna? Is he gonna have packs? Oh! Jay Money emptying that case onto the canvas. I don't think Jay Money has adequately prepared for this match, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And Jay working on Danny Cross, he has the tripod of his camera, and oh! Of course, Martina has the candlestick, but Jay Money dodging them both, but he's not capitalizing. He's just frozen. But look behind you. Butch Armstrong from behind, choking out Jay Money like an execution out on Manhunt on PS2, if anyone remembers that game. And Martina and Butch getting into a tug of war here with the rope. And now Jay working in Danny Cross, he's in the tug of war. And now that, wait, Jay Money, is he going to get involved? Now Jay Money's involved in the tug of war, so it's Martina, Jay Money, Jay working in Danny Cross, and Butch Armstrong. They're all in tug of war, but Foxy has the scissors. And oh, Foxy cuts the rope, sending everyone flying. And the crowd appreciative as each potential future first Hard Knocks champion back up into their own corner. And oh no, Foxy, no, Foxy, get out of there. Foxy, get out of there, and oh, Foxy dodges everyone. And everyone gets hit with each other's weapon. What a match, this, I mean, if you like unpredictability, then this really is the match for you.
I got hurt.
As Jay Money says what he has to say to Foxy, and oh, it's a pumpkin. Butch Armstrong has brought a pumpkin and he's sticking it on Jay Money's head. Now I don't want to throw any hyperboles out there, but Butch Armstrong, if he continues like this, could be, I was going to say, a potential king of the death match. As Jay working and Danny Cross and Martina work together to just annihilate Jay Money. As Butch Armstrong swung him around, and now it's one-on-one. It's Martina, it's Jay working on Danny Cross, and oh! Right across the abdomen of Martina. Martina counters, and she could have Jay working on Danny Cross here. If he taps, this is it, and we have a new Hard Knocks. Oh! A paper cut in between the fingers of Jay working on Danny Cross. Oh my god, how much longer can he go without tapping? I know I'm not a wrestler, but I'd have tapped immediately. Oh no! Oh no, Butch Armstrong's back with the towel! He's back with the towel! Shades of no one! I don't know who! There's shades of no one! I haven't seen a match like this. I can't compare anything I'm watching to anything I've seen elsewhere. Martina from one corner to the next. Blows to the head of Jay working in Danny Cross and Butch Armstrong. Martina looking in her element here. She really takes control of this match. And time for a drink. And you may think that's ridiculous. Time for a drink in the middle of a match. But that's fuel to Martina. That's like putting petrol in a car. It's what makes it run. But Martina needs to watch out from behind. Jay Money's getting the crowd going and right in the back and session up Martina and to the head of Butch, to the head of Jay working in Danny Cross. And Jay Money lifts the briefcase up. Will we finally see?
You want hardcore?
The fans are calling to see what's in the box. Oh, and he has brought them with him. He may be broke, but that didn't stop him from investing in the toys that he planned on using in this match. And a back body drop onto the tacks. And Jay Money caught him midair. Butch Armstrong. Black hole slam right onto the thumbtacks. And you can see even Butch Armstrong may have got a bit of that. Oh no, Martina counters it! And the tornado DDT sends Butch Armstrong head first into the centre of the canvas onto the tacks. And this could be it, but in to break up the pin is Jay working in Danny Cross, and he has a chair with him. And he hits Martina with it once. Hits it with her again, and now could be going for a brainbuster, the move of his, well, what he claims his best friend, Be Cool, and Martina! Famouser! Onto the... Oh, Butch breaks it up at 2. You really don't know who's going to win this. Just when it looks like Martina has it all wrapped up. In comes Butch Armstrong. And Martina off the nose. Butch Armstrong counters it. Sits Martina out in the centre of the ring, and this could be it. No! Martina kicks out at 2. The match is still going. And off the top of Butch Armstrong's head is the briefcase of Jay Money. And Jay Money again. Oh no! It's ducked. And Jay Money could be in trouble here. As he's picked up and... he counters it. Rolls him up. 1, 2. And Jay working in Danny Cross kicks out. Looks like he's rolling around in the thumbtacks from here, and it looks... Jay Money looks to be in his element. Jay Money looks like he could be the next Hard Knocks champion, the first Hard Knocks champion, but he's got nobody in the ring alongside him. And what's happening here? The lights are out. And they're back on. And Jay Money has his Jay Money done. Oh my god, that's a modified Jay Money dollar. Thumbtacks on the dollar. What? No. There's no need for this. Martina ducks underneath and a headbutt to Jay Money. Oh no. That's the problem with a match when there's no rules. You bring weapons involved, there's always the risk that it's going to be used against you. And Session Martina hitting that code breaker. You know what that means? 2, 3. And that is it. That is all she wrote. Session Martina. not just the new, but the first ever Hard Knocks champion, the Hard Knocks Hardcore champion in Phoenix Wrestling. If somebody wants to take the gold, if somebody wants to go through matches like we've just seen, where anything goes, rules don't apply, they're gonna have to go through the Session Mod herself, Session Mod Martina, and J Money. Oh, I can't even look at that. There's J Money Dollar just pinned to his arm. It's not nice to look at. But what is nice to see is a new champion in Phoenix Wrestling. And the Hard Knocks champion is crowned. And we are going to be in for some bangers in the future. I expect this to be a lengthy title run for Session Mod Martina. More matches, more scraps, more cans, more kendo sticks. That's what lies in store for future Phoenix Wrestling events. This is not on the schedule. This is not on any run sheet. There is not set to be a scheduled appearance of Raven Creed. But here is the most psychotic, dangerous, unpredictable wrestler on this island. And when I was listing off contenders in my head for the potential for Hard Knocks Championship matches for Session Mod Martina, I'm going through all the names in Phoenix, all the names that have proven themselves, all the names that have shown that they are worthy of holding gold in this company. Raven Creed was one of the names, probably the first name that popped into my head, if I'm being honest with you. And what a match this would be if that's what she's out here for. I mean, knowing Raven Creed, surely that's what she's after.
You didn't think that this would be a show now, indeed. In case anyone needs a refresher, that's just what I like saying. My name is Raven fucking Creed. And I am a soulless, evil little bitch. I love it. If violence interests me, brutality interests me, hurting good people, that interests me. So I gotta say, that match was pretty interesting. Now, I'm not just out here to chat shite. I have two very important things. Number one, I want to genuinely and sincerely congratulate you for being the first ever hardcore Hard Knocks champion.
Credit where it's due, but I don't think Raven Creed is here just to give credit.
The thing I want to do is I want to share a few fun facts with you guys today. Number one, that even though I've been with Phoenix since the first ever show, first ever promotional material, and I was the first ever person to be laughed about Phoenix, I have never had a championship match in Phoenix.
That's true. And many would argue that that should not be the case.
Number two is that even though we're probably considered two top women wrestlers in this country, two of the baddest bitches in this country, we have never ever wrestled in a singles match ever.
Insane. That's insane. When you look at the talent of the two involved, I wouldn't just say best female wrestlers, best in the country.
Is that those two fun facts are just about to change. I will measure 20 seconds. I am the first challenger for the Hardcore Hard Knocks Championship.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, what more could you want? Raven Creed versus Session Martina. Not just the two of the best women wrestlers in the country. I mean, two of the best. Oh! Full stop. And to think that these two have never fought is ridiculous. To think that these two have never fought in a no-rules hardcore match for gold. Oh, we are in for a treat on November 27th. And Session Martina, she's fighting back. And now, in comes security, in comes ring crew to separate these two. And you're going to need quite a few people to separate these two. The fans want to see them fight. If you want to see them fight, which of course you do, November 27th, Phoenix Wrestling, we are getting Raven Creed versus Session Martina for the Hard Knocks Championship. No rules. This is going to be unbelievable. And Session walks out with that championship, but the question now remains, how long? How long will she hold on to that title? We expected a long reign when she initially won it, but when you see the level of the contenders that line up to face her, this reign could be over before it's even begun. We'll wait and see. The View, or the Peacock of Phoenix Wrestling, apparently. You know, one reason I respect a lot of these wrestlers from the north when they come down to Phoenix, because often they have to face, you know, a bit of tiredness, you know, physical tiredness from the travel down. It's a long journey, Belfast to Cork or Belfast to Limerick, whatever it may be. Stephen Carvel doesn't have that issue. He came down here in a private jet straight from Belfast to Shannon. It took a number of very short minutes. He is fresh as a daisy. In his defense, he does look fresh as a daisy as well, but when you look at the match that he now has to win here tonight, it's against Luther Valentine. It's against somebody who has just proven themselves to be the man in Titanic wrestling. You know, to just beat him now out of nowhere, it's quite a task. Now we say out of nowhere, look, Stephen Carvel's been preparing for this for a few weeks now, but it's not going to be an easy feat for him, because, you know, Luther Valentine is someone who has a lot of experience behind him, a lot of ability behind him, and you know, I don't want to. I absolutely am not going to discount Stephen Carvel's chances. It's just that Luther Valentine is more proven. You know, he's won championships in the past. And Stephen Carvel, any goal to his name thus far, I'm not entirely sure. But that's the fun of having a working relationship with Titanic Wrestling, is you get to see these wrestlers come down. You hear a lot of buzz about them, be it prospects, be it more proven wrestlers. Either way, you get to see what they're made of. And the View, Stephen Carvel, or the Peacock of Phoenix Wrestling, if that's what we're going with, he is someone who's made for this opportunity. He is someone who, I mean, certainly spends a lot of time talking himself up, but will he be able to back it up? That's what we're gonna... Oh no. Oh no. What's he doing here? What's he doing here? I'm not comfortable around this man. I've explained it before. I've explained it to management. I've explained it to fans and colleagues. I am not comfortable around this man. I don't know why he's here. He's not scheduled to have a match here this evening. Look, the fans love him, and I don't want to say anything too loudly in case he comes for me. But he makes me uncomfortable. He scares me. I'm gonna sit a little bit further back from the mic, so sorry if I sound a bit quiet. But I just need to edge a little bit further back. I just don't feel comfortable around Mr. Charlie.
Has to get out of here. And I heard this is where the Titanic was boarding.
trying to go into the ring. What is in the box? I mean, I don't know what it is. And from behind, Stephen Carvel. He doesn't have time for Mr. Charlie. I mean, if you're Stephen Carvel, this is the biggest opportunity of your career. You don't have time for Mr. Charlie. You don't have time for the box or what's in it, even though none of us know what it is. And we are underway. Stephen Carvel, Luther Valentine, Titanic Wrestling Championship on the line. And what an important match this is for both of these men. Not just because it's the first title defense for Luther Valentine, as I mentioned earlier. Not just because Stephen Carvel wants to prove himself and win gold and be a champion. But you also have to bear in mind, tomorrow in Belfast, Titanic Wrestling returns to action, and both of these men will be there. And Stephen Carvel, he said it online in the past few days. He referred to it as a walk of shame to compete in a match like this for the championship, the ultimate opportunity for himself, but also a defense for Luther Valentine. The loser of this match almost has to make a walk of shame to Titanic tomorrow, and neither of them want to walk in with their tail between their legs. And this leaves a very interesting situation, because what that means is these two are men who are working under pressure. They are fighting under pressure. And I've mentioned it earlier, but pressure is a very interesting thing, because some wrestlers, they crack under pressure. Some of them become the best they've ever been under pressure. How will the pressure affect Luther Valentine? How will it affect Steve Carvel? We're going to wait and see. They appear to be evenly matched thus far. We're crowning our first ever Phoenix World Champion in the main event tonight. But you also have to bear in mind that while this is an incredible opportunity for both these wrestlers from a Titanic point of view, you also have to look at where it places them in the Phoenix wrestling food chain. You know, I mean, if you're the Titanic champion, that holds a lot of weight. You know, in any part of the country, in any promotion, you walk into Phoenix wrestling with that gold over your shoulder or around your waist, then, you know, how far away are you from a Phoenix wrestling title shot? How far are you away from a Hard Knocks championship or, you know, whatever matches you want in a promotion like this? It allows you to really call the shots, and you know, your words hold a lot of weight when you're the champion because you back up what you say, you back up any claims you make about yourself. It's almost like a reference on a CV, or, you know, it really is the most valuable prized possession that you could have in wrestling. So for these two to be competing for a championship, not only the championship of Titanic wrestling, it's also quite a big deal down here as well. And both of these men are aware of this. You see Luther Valentine just taking it slow. He's going to go for a suplex by the looks of things. And he has them up. Stephen Carvel. The blood rushes to his head. He's hit with a suplex. He's slammed down, flat on his back. And he kicks out a 1. But sometimes when you make a cover like that, it's not about getting a 1, 2, 3. I think Luther Valentine knows he's going to need more to put away Stephen Carvel. But you keep going for the pin attempts, even if it's a 1 count, even if it's a 2 count. Each pin attempt requires more energy to kick out of, and that grates and it wears down an opponent over the course of the match. Luther Valentine is more than aware of this. Again, a very experienced wrestler up north. He's wrestled in numerous wrestling promotions around Europe. He's held gold before. He has experienced this pressure before. I think that's another thing worth stating. As you see him chopping away at Stephen Carvel and throwing strikes, he's aware of what it's like to hold a championship before. Whereas Stephen Carvel, you know, it's almost sort of uncharted territories for him. It's almost, I won't say a fear of the unknown. I wouldn't say that Stephen Carvel is necessarily scared, but there is a certain element of pressure. I mean, again, if you refer to losing this match as a walk of shame, you know, that must be done tomorrow. You will do everything in your absolute power to make sure that you are not on the receiving end of that walk of shame. And you can see the fans there willing on Luther Valentine. We talked earlier about the impact that can happen on, that can have on a wrestler, but Stephen Carvel, he doesn't care. He's working away at his own pace. He's staying calm, staying composed, staying relaxed. Oh! Steve Carvel, he's got an excellent base of submissions here. Wouldn't be surprised if he went for a cracking clutch at some point in this match. He was hyping this move up to me earlier on today, stating that this is a move that will put away many wrestlers. As far as he has said, he can put away Luther Valentine, he can put away a champion, no problem. And in fairness, Stephen Carvel, while he may not be proven, I don't think there's any denying his ability. I don't think there's any denying what he's capable of. If you've watched enough Stephen Carvel matches, if you've watched enough of what he's done so far in his career, you know, obviously you hear more about potential. You know, with a lot of these upcoming lads, potential more than what they have at the minute. But I think Stephen Carvel is certainly a top contender, somebody who's absolutely worthy of accepting this challenge and going for the title. But it is just a case of you know, can he get the job done? He has compared himself to an octopus, hence the name Cracking Clutch, when it comes to tying people up in knots and really manipulating the body and manipulating the limbs. But at the minute, for all his technical ability, it's sticking to the fundamentals. He's going for those chops, throwing Luther into the corner, cracking the neck, and going for uppercuts and strikes. That's what seems to be working for him at the minute. And one thing in wrestling that's always very impressive is when you see wrestlers adapt to their opponent and not just, you know, showcase their strengths, but exploit their opponent's weaknesses. You know, Luther Valentine is a very well-rounded competitor, so he doesn't really have any weaknesses that are glaring, any weaknesses as such. So what Carvel has to do is he has to sort of remain balanced and remain well-rounded and attack Luther in a variety of different ways. Oh, he's got Luther in a very dangerous position at the minute. Luther's body is just draping down to the floor from the bottom rope, and Steve Carvel just with a free shot essentially on the entire head, the entire body of Luther. It is tough to get a full view from this vantage point, but it certainly doesn't look good for Luther, whatever Carvel's going for at the minute. He's sitting him down on the chair at ringside. I doubt he's doing that to give Luther a rest. He's walking over to the other side of the ring, and what is he going for here? He's going for a bit of a run-up, but Luther capitalizes, and this, you know, this is the thing. You really have to. You can't give Luther a second. You give Luther a second, let alone as many seconds as Carvel gave him there, even though I understand what Carvel was possibly going for. He's going to recover, he's going to fight back, because that's what champions do. When you're fighting for gold, it's a whole different level, it's a whole different ball game. You have to be quick, whatever your method of choice is for beating an opponent, be it technical, aerial, brawling, in title fights, as we will see later. And what a move by Luther, just knocking Steve Carvel on his back, and again, that's all a result of Carvel not being quick enough. But as I was saying, be it aerial, technical, brawling, if you're in a title fight, you have to be quick and you have to be relentless. That is the key word. The ability to just keep going and going and going and going and not stopping. If you stop, if you give your opponent a second, a breather of any kind, even if you're winding up with something spectacular, you can end up flat in your face or flat on your back, as we've just seen with Steve Carvel at ringside. And that's not where you want to be either. Like, flat on your back on the hard wooden floor. There's no give, there's no mats, there's no protection whatsoever on the outside. So one slam, one hard hit on the outside to your back, to your body, it really could be game over. And Luther Valentine looks like he's going for. Steve Carvel rolls through, and Steve Carvel again still holding his own. Still very much in this, and you have to respect Carvel. You know, love him or hate him, and I'd imagine most of you watching this hate him. There's no denying that he's not one to give up too easily. Oh, and a Superman punch from Luther Valentine, and I thought that could have been it, but Carvel, again, just to reiterate my point, he's stepping it up for the title fight. He's not holding back. He will go all the way to the end and really bring out as much of himself in this fight as he possibly can. And Luther Valentine hyping himself up, and you can feel this building rock as he stamps on the canvas. And what's he going for? Luther Valentine! Carvel reverses it, and Stephen Carvel has him up on his shoulders, not where Luther wants to be, and oh! This could be it. New champion here. And we don't. Luther Valentine kicks out at 2. And this match continues, but you can just see how much has been taken out of both men thus far. Both of them getting up to their feet very slowly. Luther Valentine, in fact, doesn't seem to be getting up at all. And Carvel, he really is in full control at the minute. He did make a promise that at the end of this match, the view for Luther Valentine to be staring up at the lights after losing his title. And if you look at Luther Valentine right now, he's throwing air punches, throwing swings at no one. Oh! The commentator is cursed. Luther Valentine with some strikes. He's still, if you look at his eyes, he still looks to be a bit off balance, a little bit rocked. But again, it's the experience coming into play, and it's knowing what's at stake as he chops Carvel's chest to bits and splashes him into the corner, just squishing him. Carvel from one side into the other, but Carvel counters it, and Luther Valentine grabs him and goes looking for a DDT, but Carvel versus it again. And Carvel! Steve Carvel. Oh, could this be the crack and clutch? Could this be... Oh, this looks dangerous! This looks dangerous! And we could have a new champion here. You hear the screams of agony from Luther Valentine. This is what I was saying. Stephen Carvel's technical ability. Just like that, out of nowhere, whipping out a submission. And this could be it. Look at the colour of... Oh no! Luther Valentine's fighting back. He's managed to get the leg over the head. And now he's got Carvel on his back. Carvel kicks out with two, but he has to be careful here. He is in a very awkward position. Luther Valentine drags him up. Look at the core strength of Luther Valentine and slams him straight down in the center of that ring. This could be it. Steve Carvel kicks out with two. Really good back and forth here. Really, really strong stuff from Luther Valentine, of course, managing to recover when it looked like he'd been dazed, but also Stephen Carvel again bringing it to the champion. Very much justifying his place as a top contender and who knows, possibly a champion. I mean, if I was a betting man, I certainly wouldn't be betting anything on this until we see it out to its conclusion, because this could go either way. Either way. Like, it's... Well, obviously Luther Valentine now, he's the one back up to his feet. And he picks up Stephen Carvel. Carvel, oh! Has him up in the fire. Carvel, oh! Luther Valentine reverses it. DDT in the center of the ring. And Stephen Carvel, he looks incapacitated. I've said it a few times, this could be it. It isn't. Stephen Carvel kicks out at two. But Luther Valentine's edging that little bit closer to retaining his title, and what a relief that would be. I have to imagine that when this is all said and done, Luther Valentine will have at the very least a newfound level of respect for Stephen Carvel.
Come on, Stephen.
But also what
Stephen.
Luther Valentine must be thinking in his head is you know, what more can be done to put away Stephen Carvel? No, he's really thrown a lot. Oh, and the spit from Stephen Carvel. You never like to see that. I can't condone it. It gets into the head of your opponent. Sometimes I can distract them, but sometimes it can fire them up. And a cutter from Luther Valentine. He rolls Carvel over, and that's it. An incredibly hard-fought affair from both sides in this match. Luther Valentine and, to his credit, Stephen Carvel. But sometimes you spit in your opponent's face like that, it fires them up. It gives them a whole level of adrenaline and energy that they didn't realise they had. It gives them fuel to their fire, and Luther Valentine got that. And Luther Valentine showcasing why he is the champion heading into Titanic tomorrow. But who knows? I mean, within the context of the Phoenix Championship, when we crown a new champion here tonight, is Luther Valentine, would he be far away from a Phoenix Championship wrestling opportunity? I wouldn't say that he is. I'd say he's very much in the picture. And in fairness to Stephen Carvel, there's another wrestler that I'd be more than happy to see back here in Limerick as soon as possible. I think both men brought it, both men brought their A game, they lived up to the occasion. Neither of them cracked under the pressure. But when it's all said and done, the experience of Luther Valentine and the durability of Luther Valentine was enough to keep him going in this match. So fair play to Luther Valentine, all the respect in the world. And a really, really fun fight.
Thank you to our partners like Titanic for sanctioning that match. It also has major implications for their show tomorrow. Stephen Carvel will go into the bunch of that Royal in Madrid for some position if he wants another shot. We're back here in Limerick. We have another single concept of one more. Introducing
I mean, there's a man who knows how to make an entrance. Sean Dunn, Limerick's own Sean Dunn. I am very excited to see this man fight. I've heard nothing but great things. The energy that he radiates is just one of pure confidence, and someone who's not afraid to get the job done here tonight as he takes on Dino Power. A very popular young man around these parts, Dino Power. Again, another wrestler that I've heard nothing but great things about. This man has buckets of potential. One of the brightest prospects coming out of the Phoenix Wrestling Academy. A hard hitter, tough as nails. Again, like Sean Dunn, these are two very, very similar wrestlers because they're not afraid to hit hard, do what needs to be done to win, but also get hit hard. You hit them hard, they hit back even 100 times harder. And that's what makes this match so interesting, and that's why, you know, despite the inexperience of Dino Power, this is a match that we are having on the co-main event of our first Limerick City show in over 2 years. A very, very big, prominent spot on the card for both of these men. But it's a match that's taking place right here and right now because Phoenix Wrestling Management knows what these two men are capable of. And look at this. I mean, you know, we don't always see, like, not every wrestler has, you know, a huge amount of power. Not every wrestler has that sort of strength, that brawling, that, you know. We're in for another very hard-hitting affair here tonight. And you look at Sean Dunn here. Again, we talk about his entrance, but let's talk about his wrestling ability. And you see Dino Power trying to counter the headlock that he's in at the minute. But, you know, Sean Dunn is someone who is incredibly well travelled. He wrestled out in the Middle East, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. Do you know why he came back to Phoenix Wrestling after wrestling in Abu Dhabi and Dubai? Because there was no more competition left in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. He wiped out all of them. He you know, every match that he was put in the countries that he was wrestling in, he won with ease. This man is a monster. This man is a fighter. This is someone who, you know, really, you know, in Europe, not many are that familiar with Sean Dunn because of how far away his work has taken place in, but he is a threat. And again, you're looking at the first Phoenix champion being crowned tonight, and you're looking at all these contenders, you know, from top to bottom of the card. We're now at the co-main event. And I look at Sean Dunn and Dino Power, who's holding his own with them right at the minute. And I look at the two of them and I say, you know, who's to say what lies in store for the future of both of these men? A win here really does make a statement. And you hear the fans willing on Dino. You know, Dino Power is another one of these wrestlers who was just getting started, just getting going, on the cusp of a massive breakthrough in you know, February, March 2020, when of course, you know, the pandemic hit and the world shuts down. And, you know, what that does, the fire that lights in a young wrestler's stomach when they're told, hey look, you were just about to make a name for yourself, you were just about to make that breakthrough, and now it's being taken from you and there's nothing you can do about it. That, I mean, for a lot of these wrestlers, that's it's already a long enough break as it is, but if you're a young wrestler who's, you know, just at that early stage in their career when you're desperate to make a name for yourself, that's a body blow. And what it does is it builds up an intensity, it builds up a hunger over the course of those 2 years. And we're seeing it here with Dino Power as he drops the elbow right into the heart, right into the chest of Sean Dunn. Fearless, again, I say Sean Dunn is a warrior. You know, he's someone who has, I mean, his win-loss record, incredibly impressive stuff. He's, you know, someone who's, again, as I've said, really taken advantage of any opponent he's ever had to face. But Dino Power, because he's so hungry and because he's had this opportunity robbed from him over such a period of time. Oh! I was going to say he's really going for it, but Sean Dunn has just hit him with a chop to the back so loud that it's just rocked the entire room here in Limerick City. And it may... Oh! Sean Dunn planting Dino Power down, and he's going to need more than that to put away Dino Power. Oh, Dino Power catching Sean Dunn off the middle rope and slams him in the center of the ring. Yo, I was gonna say it, but you couldn't hear it over the Dino chants. But the sound of some of these shots that these men are hitting each other with. I mean, again, I say they have power. I say they have, but they also have one punch knockout power. That is something that's also worth mentioning. I mean, these are two titans going at it, really. I mean, I would ask the question, do you think it's rocked Sean's confidence that in his hometown, in his home city, the audience seems to be fully behind Dino Power? But again, this is a man who's traveled the world and beaten anyone and everyone that has come before him, so I wouldn't say his confidence is too rocked as we see an explosive German suplex sending Dino Power all the way across the ring. Is he going for a pedigree here? A move that he has used in the past to put away many opponents, but Dino Power reverses it, catches him in a Uranagi right in the center of that ring. And Dino Power, I mean, yes, he's inexperienced, but you wouldn't really get the impression watching him that he's particularly inexperienced. If you're unfamiliar with Dino Power, and not just the reactions that he's getting, but what he's showing in the ring, you would think this is somebody who's been wrestling for much longer. Obviously, he would have been training a lot during the pandemic and keeping his skills sharp. But oh, that's the experience. That's the experience of Sean Dunn pushing the referee into the ropes, and you know, without even touching Dino Power already, he has the advantage over him, and momentum swings yet again. You know, I say the bigger they are, the harder they fall. When someone the size of Dino Power comes crashing down off the top turnbuckle like that, they can cause all sorts of damage, but he's just tough as nails. Dino Power, I mean, I have to say I'm very impressed by, again, the durability that he's shown here. You can actually see, if you look at the eyes of Sean, you can see frustration etched across the face of somebody who's so used to putting away opponents with ease. And now the fight is really being brought to him. And oh my God, Dino Power with a chop to the chest, just echoing that. What can we go for here? Dino Power plants Sean Dunn in the center of the ring, and again looks like he could be going to the top rope, but he's taking his time. He needs to be careful if he wants to put away Sean Dunn. He can't give him a second, can't give him any time to recover. Off the top turnbuckle, frog splash off the top. And the full weight of Dino crushing Sean, and that's it! That is it! big win for Dino Power. The fans are buzzing, the fans are ecstatic. And you know what? I'm very excited too, because what we have in our hands here is a very, very promising prospect. I am very much looking forward to seeing what Dino Power is going to achieve here. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what future matchups we're going to see Dino Power involved in, because really the sky genuinely could be his limit. I mean, Sean threw a lot at him, and you can see here he's earned his respect, mutual respect between both of these men. Sean threw everything he could at him, but Dino Power just taking everything as it came, getting thrown off the top turnbuckle, you know, showing great ring awareness, great fight IQ. I expect to see more of Sean Dawn, of course, as well. But Dino Power, I mean, where is he going to be a year from now? Where is he going to be 2 years from now? Or even better yet, where is he going to be next month when Phoenix Wrestling returns on November the 27th? I am very, very intrigued after what I've seen here from Dino Power. Excellent, excellent stuff. He has sent a message to the Phoenix Wrestling faithful, and I am here for it. Great stuff, great work by Dino Power. Silky Smooth, Reardon O'Connor. This right here is a wrestler that really does have all the potential in the world right now. I mean, you know, again, I've mentioned it earlier talking about Dino Power. We've got a few prospects in Phoenix Wrestling where they may be inexperienced in certain areas, but you wouldn't tell by watching them. And when I look at Reardon O'Connor, what I see is a legitimate, genuine threat to this title. You never would have expected when Phoenix started that our first world champion would be Reardon O'Connor, because he hadn't made a name for himself at that stage. But a lot has happened between now and then. And when I look at Reardon O'Connor coming out here for this big match, calm, composed, relaxed, but focused, I see potentially the first ever Phoenix Wrestling champion. And I'm really looking forward to this one. And here you see Limerick City's own, in case you couldn't tell by the reception, Steve Savage. When I say that Steve Savage is focused, Steve Savage is laser focused. He is so intense because he knows how much he has, how hard he has worked and how much he has sacrificed to get to this point in his career where he is main eventing, and he could possibly walk out of here tonight as the first ever Phoenix Wrestling champion. I would say best of luck to him. But Steve Savage doesn't believe in luck. He believes in ability. He believes in earning his wins, earning his victories, and that's what he's done to get himself into this position. What makes this match so interesting is the fact that you genuinely don't know who's going to win it. LJ Cleary, he's saying to his Saviors of Destiny partners, he's saying to Andy Steele and Owen Richards, who we saw earlier in the night, that he doesn't need them, that he can do this on his own, he can beat anyone and everyone, he doesn't need to worry about being put in his own. But I'm very conscious of the fact that this is a no disqualification match. This is no countouts, no rules, because it's a fatal 4-way. And, you know, all I'm saying is I am very wary of Andy Steele and Owen Richards and their presence in the building. And I hope this match isn't ruined. I hope it's not, you know, affected too badly, but LJ Cleary, I mean, you see him getting into the face of all these fans. Not the most popular figure you'll see here in Limerick City tonight. But LJ Cleary not short of confidence. And I don't doubt that perhaps he could do it on his own, but he has a tough test ahead of him. He's got Steve Savage, he's got Reardon O'Connor. And of course, I mean, he's got the man that's yet to come out as well. He's got Justy. It's a tough test. We'll wait and see how it plays out. And here is the final piece of the puzzle. The master of the fishhook. The man with more experience in this match than I mean, how old was Reardon O'Connor when Justy started wrestling? You know what I mean? I don't know the answer to that question. I will say that he was quite young, if alive at all. And you look at Justy, and I know some people may say that with youth comes speed, comes agility, comes energy, comes endurance, etc., etc. But what Justy has with his experience is so valuable.
To my left, he is Mr. Silky Smooth, the best man in the place, and he is so Reardon O'Connor. To my right, for 2 decades, he has been the one constant on the scene, not just the face, but the backbone of the Irish wrestling scene.
No denying who the hometown hero is tonight. as Steve Savage soaks in the moment. But whether they love these wrestlers or they hate them, they all respect them because they all earned this spot in the Fatal 4-Way. And here we go. Foxy rings the bell, and already Steve Savage taking out LJ Cleary right from the start, wasting no time at all. And LJ already, absolute nightmare start for him. But you can see now, all three men going through the feeling out process, all trying to examine what their opponents can bring to the table and how to counter it as quickly as possible. You have to be very efficient in a Fatal 4-Way, as we're seeing here now. I mean, the pinfall could come out of absolutely nowhere. Could be a roll-up, could be a schoolboy, could be anything. And you have to be aware, you have to be alert at all times. And oh, Justin over a double pin here. They both kick out, but I mean, this is what I'm saying. This could be over. All it takes is that one pinfall, that one moment. And what makes the Fatal 4-Way so interesting, and the reason you'll see a high level of urgency from all the competitors involved, is because of course they can lose and walk out of here having wasted their opportunity without even getting pinned or submitted. And I see the fans willing along Steve Savage. I mean, we're seeing Reardon and Steve Savage, but what you have to remember is Reardon O'Connor was a last second replacement for Darren Carney. Reardon O'Connor wasn't even meant to be in this match initially, but you wouldn't tell that. You wouldn't be able to tell that by watching it, because Reardon O'Connor has been preparing for this opportunity for years. He has been preparing for this opportunity for so long that there is no such thing as a short notice fight for Reardon O'Connor. He gets ready, he stays ready, and that's as simple as that. But you're coming up against Steve Savage, who has got the experience advantage, who's incredibly hard hitting, an excellent brawler, and who's in his hometown. But you see Justy sizing the both up and going for him. What's LJ? Oh, LJ with a kick to the ribs of Justy. And I don't know if that was really a smart spin by LJ, because behind him, here comes Reardon O'Connor off the middle rope. LJ catches him. LJ's ready. He's got eyes almost on the back of his head. He's seeing things at all angles. You have to remember, LJ Cleary, as young as he is, he was wrestling from a very, very young age. So despite his youth, and despite all the advantages that come from youth and being young and having that energy and that, you know, the physical side of things, mentally LJ Cleary has a lot of experience in his own right. He is somebody who, again, has wrestled plenty times in Phoenix, has racked up plenty of really impressive wins, both in tag team action and as a singles competitor. So there really is a lot to, you know, there's so many possibilities here. You look at Reardon O'Connor in there with LJ Cleary, as LJ dominates Reardon for the time being. There's quite a lot of similarities between Reardon and LJ, and I'm not just talking about the hair. I mean, stylistically they're quite similar. It almost seems as if LJ Cleary is Reardon O'Connor with more years of wrestling behind him and more experiences. And Reardon O'Connor, he has to play catch up. He's the one who has to learn his lessons quickly, because the opportunity isn't for next month or a year from now or 2 years from now. The opportunity is now, and he's got it very early on in his career. Reardon O'Connor, in fairness too, always up for the fight, full of heart, no denying that. But when you see him in there with LJ Cleary, at the minute it does look like LJ Cleary's a bit of a, I won't say a mismatch, but he's certainly in control. LJ Cleary with a lengthy standing suplex. Again, doing the smart thing, keeping Reardon O'Connor away from the top turnbuckles and keeping him grounded, keeping him in the centre of the ring. But notice as well, Justy isn't incapacitated. He's standing up on the outside, he's regrouping, he's eyeing up everything that's happening in here, because while Reardon O'Connor and LJ Cleary, regardless of who's getting the better or worse, you know, of this occasion, I mean, for every second you spend in that ring and as much damage as you're dishing out, you're also wearing yourself out. So if you have a moment outside the ring to regroup, it is very, very smart to take advantage of that. And look, you see Steve Savage just cleaning house when he comes in. Why? Because he had a minute, he had a couple of seconds on the outside to regroup. And sometimes that can really be the difference maker here in a Fatal 4-Way match. And one thing that's worth noting at the minute thus far, we haven't seen any temporary alliances forming. This, right from the get-go, has been every man for himself. This isn't, you know, a temporary 2-on-2. This is 1v1v1v1, because everyone knows what's at stake. Everyone knows there can only be one winner, and everyone knows there can only be one first. And everyone wants to be the first ever Phoenix Wrestling Champion. It's years, not weeks, not months, years in the making. Oh my God, what is happening here? LJ Cleary again, moving everyone out of the way, dealing out a bit of damage to Reardon, and then Justy, and then Steve Savage. It's a lot of energy to be exerting this early on in the fight, but again, you just can't go easy. It's a fatal 4-way, it's for the world title, you have to go at 100% start to finish. Oh! And Justy, with a chop, taking the wind out of LJ Cleary's sails, but Steve Savage counters it. And Justy, oh, what a move by Justy! Excellent athleticism, sending LJ Cleary flying across the ring, and a German to Reardon O'Connor. Justy reminded me a lot of my broken PS4. He's not here to play games. Oh! LJ Cleary countering the pinfall attempt. Countering with a pinfall attempt, but I think we are in for a long fight here tonight. I don't see any of these four men giving this up easily. This is everything to all of them. This is the crowning achievement of their careers. A world champion, the Phoenix Wrestling World Champion. And you see LJ Cleary doing the smart thing, keeping Steve Savage out of the ring, keeping Reardon out of the ring as well. You see Reardon trying to climb up, LJ has his eye on him, and again, keeping him out. He wants to isolate Justy, keep Justy in the centre of the ring by himself. If you can concentrate on one opponent and give as much time as you can dealing out all that damage to that one opponent, obviously that fares better for you than, you know, if you're looking over your shoulder every 4 seconds. And LJ throwing Justy in corner to corner. And LJ Cleary, I mean, he's improved so much over the years. You know, hailed as one for the future for quite a while. I think that time has come and gone. I think he is now one for the present. I think LJ Cleary, I'm not necessarily saying he's at his peak, because even at this stage of his career he's got so much left to do, but he is so well developed and well advanced, and he's standing there toe to toe with Justy, someone who, oh, but Steve Savage and Justy working together. Now Reardon O'Connor in, and again Justy and Steve Savage working together, going for a double suplex, and Reardon counters it on his own again. The adrenaline pumping through Reardon O'Connor. The fans incredibly appreciative of his efforts, and Reardon O'Connor, a one-man wrecking machine, going from corner to corner to corner, taking out LJ, taking out Justy, taking out Steve Savage. Oh, but Justy counters with a big boot to the head, and he's back to square one. He is rocked. But now Justy running into the corner of Steve Savage, running into the corner of Reardon, running into the corner of LJ Cleary. And LJ counters with a flying knee of his own. And now he runs into Reardon, Reardon pushes him away. And LJ catches Reardon in mid-air. And, oh my God, I was going to say he's going for an Explorer suplex, but Justy catches LJ in a German. But look at Steve Savage. Steve Savage is up on the top turnbuckle. And Steve Savage with a senton off the top onto Justy. High risk, high reward. And LJ Cleary breaks up the cover, and that's why you have to go through so much more in a multi-man match like a Fatal 4-Way than a singles match, because even if your opponent's out, that you're pinning, in comes someone else, out of nowhere, a third man, a fourth man to break up the cover. You have to make sure that everyone is incapacitated, not just your one opponent. So a lot of effort is going to be required from Steve Savage if he's going to pull this off. in his hometown, in his home city. And you know how much this means to Steve Savage. You know, everyone missed time because of the pandemic, but he had an injury on top of that. An injury caused by the man that he is wrestling with right now, Justy. But in comes Reardon O'Connor, and Justy again getting the better of Reardon, going for a suplex. Reardon lands on his feet. Reardon ducks under the clothesline by Justy, and Reardon with a sling blade. And LJ right behind him, another flying knee. LJ Cleary, the flying knee, really putting it to good use, catching his opponents off guard out of nowhere and stunting their momentum. And that's the end result, domination by LJ Cleary. All of these men are down. LJ Cleary's the only one. He's got his pick of the bunch, but he's going to want to be quick. Going for Steve Savage, and another knee, sending Steve Savage into the ropes. Steve Savage looks like he's about to fall out of the ring, and he's not going to want to do that with a full Limerick City house willing him on. You know, again, this is a man who's fought back from injury. You know, torn meniscuses on top of ACL injuries and all sorts of leg injuries. He couldn't walk, he couldn't wrestle, he couldn't fight, but he insisted. He said, no, I have to fight. You know, doctors told him to just give it up, stop pursuing with his dream, go do something else with his life, something that's less physically demanding. But he said no, because he knows how much this means to him. And again, the fight never stops with Steve Savage right into the head of LJ Cleary. Steve Savage is already an unbelievable fighter. You know, he's an unbelievable wrestler. That what he can achieve in that wrestling ring is of a really high standard. But Steve Savage in Limerick City, a whole different beast, a whole different animal, as LJ Cleary is learning as he kicks out of yet another pin attempt. But LJ Cleary, to his credit, has really, you know, he has shown some decent spells of dominance in this match thus far, dishing out to all three of his opponents. And look, the fans might want to see Steve Savage as champion, but if LJ Cleary has his way, that's not going to happen. And if Justy and Reardon O'Connor have their way, that's not going to happen either, because Justy and Reardon O'Connor are on the top turnbuckle. And what? Steve Savage over here! Oh my God! And the fans standing up, showing their appreciation for the sacrifice and the physical toll these young men are putting on their bodies, because they want this Phoenix Wrestling Championship more than anyone else. And Foxy's counting. You best believe he's not getting the 10, because, oh no, and this is what I was talking about earlier. This is what I was talking about earlier. The Saviors of Destiny. I mean, you know, what can you do? There's no disqualifications, there's no countouts, anything goes. And it's such a shame, and I will say it's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, that this is what happens. LJ Cleary looked at times that he could get the job done on his own, but when the going got tough, what happens? Andy Steele comes out, Owen Richards comes out, the Saviors of Destiny. And if it remains 3-on-1, you have to ask yourself, how is Steve Savage gonna, how is he meant to survive this? This is no longer a match, this is a beatdown. LJ Cleary didn't need a temporary alliance with any of his opponents in this match, because he has a permanent alliance. But Steve Savage is fighting back. He's fighting back against Saviors of Destiny. He's fighting back against Owen Richards and Andy Steele. Throwing one of them out of the ring and clotheslining Andy Steele over the top. And somehow, in a 3-on-1 situation, Steve Savage has brought it back. And we are back down to... Oh my God, Steve Savage. He's caught LJ Cleary in the middle of the ring. He's got both his legs. Could he be going for a double leg Boston Crab? He is! He's going for a double leg Boston Crab. Dead center of the ring. The Saviors of Destiny, they are down. They are out. Where's Riordan O'Connor? Where's Justy? I don't see them. LJ Cleary could be on the verge of topping here. But then in comes Andy Steele and Foxy moving Andy Steele out of the way, and LJ Cleary's topping. LJ Cleary's top, but Foxy can't see it. And Riordan O'Connor clears out Steve Savage. Justy's back in. LJ topped. Foxy surely must have heard it, but he didn't see it, and you can't call what you don't see. Oh, that's an absolute howler from Foxy. You can't blame him. He did have to deal with a heavy amount of interference, but that should have been it. Steve Savage should be the champion. But Riordan O'Connor caught LJ with a code breaker mid-air, and now this could be it. And Andy Steele pulls Foxy out of the ring. And I mean, that is just... We could have had ourselves a new champion, and from behind, Owen Richards. I mean, the saves of Destiny are just ruining this match. They're just ruining it. I mean, we could have had Steve Savage as a new champion. We could have Riordan O'Connor as a new champion. And I hate to say it, but I think we're getting LJ Cleary as the first ever Phoenix Wrestling champion. Owen Richards is coming up to the commentary. He's got a chair now. He's in the ring. Oh, I don't even want to know what. I don't even want to know what he's going to go for here. This is Steve Savage blocking Owen Richards, grabbing the chair, now hitting him on the back with a steel chair. Andy Steele begs not to receive the same treatment, but he does. And Steve Savage, for the second time, clears out the Saviors of Destiny, but still, LJ Cleary manages to gain the upper hand and all. Steel chair taking out the previously injured leg of Steve Savage. I've mentioned the injuries that he has had to deal with, and in the past he has faced LJ Cleary with those injuries. But Justy grabs the steel chair of LJ Cleary. With so much going on, you'd almost forget about Justy recovering on the outside, but LJ Cleary, he's getting Justy to form a temporary alliance, work together to take out Steve Savage, and instead Justy wipes out the Sabres of Destiny. And LJ Cleary, LJ hits him with a super kick, the chair going straight into the head of Justy. And now LJ Cleary, he's got Steve Savage, 2! I thought Steve Savage had it. Oh my god. LJ Cleary throwing the chair full force into the head of Steve Savage, damaging the head and neck area. That looked very, very bad. And now onto the previously injured neck of Justy. Justy, again, a wrestler who's broken his neck in the past, fought through the injury and came back. It's a running theme. You see that with a lot of these wrestlers in the main event. Justy and Steve Savage, they suffer injuries. They sacrifice their bodies for this sport because they want the gold. They want the Phoenix Wrestling Championship. They fight through these injuries to get to the stage, only for LJ Cleary and the Saviors of Destiny to ruin it. And LJ Cleary, what's he going for here? Just a spit. Not a headbutt, not a strike, not a punch, just a spit. And Justy counters it with an Alabama slam, and Justy, 1, 2, 3, that's it! Ladies and gentlemen, the first ever Phoenix Wrestling Champion. Someone who has fought through injury, somebody who has wrestled for years, up and down, top to bottom of this island, but in Phoenix Wrestling, somebody who's been here since day one, somebody who wrestled in the first ever Phoenix Wrestling match, is now standing here 3 years later in the middle of Limerick City, lifting the Phoenix Wrestling World Championship above his head. He had to deal with it all. He had to deal with a hometown hero. He had to deal with a promising prospect. He had to deal with the Saviours of Destiny and LJ Cleary. And none of it stopped him. None of it stopped him. He made the smart decisions when smart decisions needed to be made. And he made the right moves that needed to be made. And Justy is now the first ever, the current Phoenix Wrestling World Champion. And Steve Savage must be bitterly disappointed. Reardon O'Connor must be bitterly disappointed. And you can see it etched on their faces and in their body language. But they will be back. They will be back and they will challenge for gold again, because you don't get to this level once and leave it there. We will be seeing Steve Savage versus Justy. We'll be seeing Reardon O'Connor versus Justy. Surely at some point down the line. But for now, this is Justy's moment. It's his moment to celebrate. It's his moment to soak in and appreciate the significance of what he has just achieved. And now we hear from the man himself.
It's been 20 years since I was standing. I started off. I went to big off like this. I've done red clubs. I've done a stage red clubs. I've been all over it. I don't do that. To be honest with you, this is the biggest honor I have ever had for wrestling. Before he heads on to bigger and better things, really lap him up right now. What a guy! I've been 2 years away from wrestling, and I swear to God, I couldn't come back to a better match, better opponents, even LJ Cleary. In front of you beautiful people. I will defend it in Limerick, I will defend it in Cork.
journey here. Justy showed me the backyards in Kildare where he started wrestling as a kid. Multiple decades later, we stand here in Limerick City and we watch him in the ring with his World Championship, the first Phoenix Wrestling Champion, and there can only be one first, and it will go down in history till the end of time. The first Phoenix Wrestling Champion, Justy. Thank you all for joining us live here in Limerick City. Fuck your Superkicks, I've got a horse outside. We will be seeing you in November on the 27th. Thanks for watching. We are Phoenix.